You already planted the seed. The real question is why you keep digging it up. Every time you check for evidence, every time you ask, where is it? You're pulling the roots out of the soil with your own hands. By the end of this, you'll understand the one biblical principle that most people read right past, the one that turns wishing into having. Genesis tells us God created for 6 days, then rested on the seventh. Most people read that as a schedule, a day off, a reward for hard work. That reading misses everything. The Sabbath was the seal on creation. The moment when the work was declared finished, complete, done, before a single tree had grown, before a single river had carved its path, before any of it had shown up in the visible world. The rest came while the evidence was still invisible. That's the part worth sitting with. Neville Goddard taught this with a precision that cuts through centuries of misreading. The Sabbath, he said, is a psychological state. You enter it the moment you stop trying to make your desire happen and start knowing it already has. The 6 days of creation represent the inner work, clarifying what you want, building the scene in your mind, feeling its reality until your body responds as though you're already living it. The seventh day is when you stop, completely. You walk away from the workbench of imagination because the piece is finished. So why is this the hardest part of the entire process? Because rest feels like giving up when you've been trained to equate effort with results. Your whole life, you've been told that more action produces more outcome. Push harder, follow up, stay on it. And in the physical world, that logic works for physical tasks. But you're operating in a different domain now. The imagination is a planting ground, and seeds grow in darkness, in silence, in the absence of interference. A farmer who plants corn and then digs up the field every morning to check on the roots will harvest nothing. You already know this. You just haven't applied it to the thing you want most. The state of rest carries a specific feeling. You can recognize it because you've already experienced it with things you didn't care about. Think of a time you ordered something online. You clicked purchase, got the confirmation and moved on with your day. You didn't sit by the window. You didn't call the warehouse. The package was coming, and your body knew it. That calm certainty, that quiet absence of anxiety about the outcome, that's the Sabbath. The only difference between that moment and your deepest desire is the emotional charge you've attached to the outcome. And that charge is exactly what keeps pulling you out of rest. When you desperately want something, the wanting itself becomes a signal. Every time you feel that ache of longing, you're broadcasting a state of absence to your own deeper mind. Neville called this living in the wish instead of living in the end. The wish says, I want it, which means I don't have it. The end says, it's done. These two states produce completely different internal environments. One generates searching, the other generates receiving. Here's where most people stumble. They do the imaginative work beautifully. They build the scene, they feel the joy, they fall asleep in the wish fulfilled. And then they wake up, look around at unchanged circumstances, and the old story rushes back in like water filling a hole. The morning becomes a battlefield between what they felt last night and what they see right now. The visible world wins because it's loud, it's persistent, it has texture and weight, and the full cooperation of every sense organ in your body. The Sabbath is your answer to that assault. When the old evidence pushes against your new assumption, rest is the act of choosing the unseen over the seen. Paul wrote it plainly in 2 Corinthians, "We look not at the things which are seen, but at the things which are not seen. For the things which are seen are temporal, but the things which are not seen are eternal." That line deserves more than a Sunday reading. It's an instruction manual for navigating the gap between planting and harvest. Think about what temporal actually means here. Temporary, passing. Your current circumstances have an expiration date, every single one of them. The bank balance, the diagnosis, the empty apartment, the job you hate, these are scenes in a movie that's still playing. You're treating the current frame as the final frame. The Sabbath is the inner knowing that another scene is already written. But knowing this intellectually changes nothing. The body has to learn it. And the body learns through repetition, through practice, through catching yourself mid-spiral and choosing differently. You'll notice the moment it happens, that tightness in your chest when you start rehearsing worst-case scenarios, that compulsive urge to check your phone for updates, that gravitational pull toward the old story. Each of those moments is an invitation. You can follow the spiral down, Or you can breathe, return to the feeling of the finished thing, and rest there. This is where mental discipline meets faith, and faith, in this context, has nothing to do with hoping something works out. Biblical faith, the kind described in Hebrews, is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Substance, evidence. Those are concrete words. The faith that enters the Sabbath isn't floating on wishful thinking. It's standing on something solid that happens to be invisible to everyone else. You've touched it in your imagination. You've felt the texture of the life you're stepping into. That sensory experience is your substance. Guard it. The people who manifest consistently share one trait that rarely gets discussed. They're bored by the waiting. They planted, they rested, and then they got on with their lives. The desire stopped being an obsession and became a settled fact. Like knowing your name or knowing the skies above you, you don't affirm your name every morning. You don't fight for belief in gravity. Certain things simply are. The Sabbath is the process of moving your desire into that category. From thing I want to thing that's mine. Neville often used the phrase, walk as though you are. Walk through your day as the person who already has the thing. This walking is the rest in motion. It looks like normalcy from the outside. Inside, it's a revolution. Every reaction you don't have to bad news, every moment of peace in the face of delay, every quiet smile when someone asks how things are going, these are acts of Sabbath. You're resting in a reality that your senses can't confirm yet, and every time you hold that ground, the roots go deeper. There's a common fear that resting means being passive, that if you stop pushing, nothing will happen. Consider the opposite. What if your pushing is the very thing creating resistance? A closed fist can't receive anything. An open hand can. The Sabbath asks you to open your grip on the outcome, the timing, the method, the specific channel through which it arrives. You defined the what. The how belongs to a deeper intelligence that has been orchestrating circumstances since before you were born. Isaiah captured this with startling clarity, for as the rain comes down and the snow from heaven, and returns not there but waters the earth, and makes it bring forth and bud, so shall my word be that goes forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void. It shall accomplish that which I please. The word that goes forth is your assumption, spoken in the silence of your mind. It has been sent. It will accomplish. Your only task now is to stop sending contradictory messages after it. Every anxious thought is a second messenger chasing the first one, shouting, "Wait, cancel that, I didn't mean it." Every doubt is a revision to the order you already placed. The Sabbath is the discipline of sending one clear signal and then protecting it with your peace. You've done the work. The scene has been imagined, the feeling has been felt, the seed is in the ground and the soil knows what to do with it. Your job, the hardest, simplest, most counterintuitive job you'll ever have, is to stop working. Let the silence do what silence does. Let the unseen move in the dark the way it always has, arranging people and timing and open doors you couldn't have engineered with 1,000 plans. The Sabbath isn't the pause before the miracle. It is the miracle. The moment you genuinely rest, you've crossed from the world of effort into the world of fulfillment. Everything after that is just the visible world catching up to what you already decided was true. So tonight, when you close your eyes and feel the reality of your answered prayer, stay there. And tomorrow morning, when the old world greets you with its unchanged face, smile at it the way you'd smile at yesterday's weather forecast. It's already out of date. The new season is set. Your only move now is to live like you know it.